What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. As I mentioned in the last one, we bought our first house and now we're all moved in. So this YouTube is going to be in the brand new house. As you can see, things are pretty plain, pretty simple behind us, but we've got some cool things in store for this office, and hopefully, it'll be really cool space to kind of create some content and help keep you guys informed of all the latest on finances, whether it be money management, economics, finance news or business or stock market investing. All the tips here to help you guys get started in your first journey. Let's get stuck into the video today. So today's video, I mentioned before the process of buying our first home and getting into a home at now 27 years old, and my partner is 28. And so what I wanted to try and do was this topic, or this YouTube channel is all about finance, but one of the key things is the people that watch this may be in their mid to late 20s or early 30s, or people that are just in the process of maybe getting their first house. And so what I wanted to do was just document and jot down some things that we did in the process of getting our first house that hopefully you guys out there who might just be thinking about getting a house or in the process of getting a house, or maybe have already got their own, can help comment on and just help navigate that whole process, because it is a huge step for most people, and there's so many little things to look out for that can help you turn it from a really fun thing that you guys get involved with to a really terrible thing that costs you a lot of money as well. So let's run through the process of how we actually got our first house, and then I'll document some of the things that we took away from that. So let's start with some of the reasons why we actually looked into buying our first home. Now, one of the things that we had sort of talked about as a couple was what we were going to do with the current rental we're in. This was the first rental that we'd actually been in since we were together, and it's our first time moving in and living together as well. So we talked about always trying to own our own home, because for us, we wanted to try and do and make things however we wanted to. So we didn't want to be locked in by a rental. You can't put up paintings, you can't paint the walls, you can't style the room differently, you can't change the carpet, can't change the fixtures. So we wanted to be in a place where we could actually do that. And one of the ways that we wanted to attribute to was paying off a mortgage. So if you've got equity in your home, or you own part of your home as you pay it back from the bank, you've got that money sort of sitting there that you can use to either leverage yourself into another property, or you can draw down those funds through various ways. So we wanted to be contributing to, think about it like almost a term deposit account. We wanted to be contributing to something that was building up our own sort of pile of money versus paying off someone else's mortgage. So we talked about that, and we'd agreed that eventually we wanted to own our own home. So we actually started by looking at, can we actually afford to buy a home? And to begin with, we just looked at our affordability, our budgets. Were we able to, with our budget the way it was, with the rental that we were paying, were we able to be in a position where we could actually afford to live in a house of our own? And then what was that price going to be that we could afford to buy a house? Started to look at houses as well. So really strange concept when you don't understand what the worth of something is. It's very much, I take it to very much like stock investing, okay? There's this stock and it's at X price. Like, how do you know that that price is what it's actually valued at? So we started looking at just houses around the street and stuff, and slowly but surely started to realize that we were in for a lot more money than maybe we thought we could. Originally I was like, oh yeah, maybe like 300, 400K is what we'll need. But you look at like a nice-ish house on like a nice-ish area, and it's like, boom, 700K, 800K. And it was just like, I couldn't believe that how expensive houses were. And I talked to people like my parents or my partner's parents, and they're like, oh yeah, we paid like 70K for a house, our first home. And I'm like, what? Like, how am I meant to afford this on like a moderate / median sort of salary? So that was the first sort of step, actually like looking and understanding what homes were valued at. And then we started to, put together like, okay, we're spending this much on rent. This is how much a house of X amount is going to cost us in repayments. Like, could we make that work? Plus, obviously, incurring the cost of things like your rates, your water, home and contents insurance, like all of those little costs that add up to actually a mortgage. A mortgage is not just what you pay back to the bank, it's all the other things involved. So we started to look at that, and it looked like we could afford to do that if we had our expenses at a certain amount. So from there, we actually engaged with a broker, and we did this twice. The first time, we actually looked and reaffirmed to us like what we could actually afford to get out from the bank, who would come to the party, what sort of interest rates would be at, and getting a better sort of base understanding of like, this is the repayments that you have to make per week. Because it's easy to just use a calculator online, and that gives you a very broad spectrum of like what you could afford. But to be able to give like, okay, this is, you're gonna have to pay, say, $200 a week in repayments over 30 years, or for the first couple of years if you did fixed. And then we could actually work it into our budget a bit more securely, I guess. And when we first engaged the broker, we kind of went through the process, we looked at a couple of home opens, and then we realized early on that we probably didn't have enough of a deposit ready. So we said, okay, we're gonna put a pin in it. We'll come back in 6 months, and that gave us like a savings goal and a deposit goal to kind of reach. And then we could move a bit faster once we got that deposit together. So it was more or less like, okay, what sort of house or what sort of suburb, what sort of house do we want? How much can we afford to get out maximum? And then what does that maximum amount require in terms of deposit, factoring in things like stamp duty, transfer costs, mortgage fees, all that sort of thing. How much money do we actually need to make a move on a house of this value? Hello and welcome back. Short intermission because on the last clip, you'll see here, it's a completely different day. On the last clip, I was talking for almost 9 minutes and my microphone here, it actually cut out. So I had a 9-minute clip of no audio. So I'll peel back to kind of what I was saying before, and we'll jump straight into the video and go from where I kind of left things off. But I was talking about how we kind of put everything together. We engaged with the broker the first time to kind of find out how much we'd be up for. And then we looked at a few houses, and we thought maybe if we just save a little bit more, we can kind of get the house we want. Because a few of the houses they just weren't great. I think well, the audio just cut out again. So I only got a piece of that one. So what I was talking about initially before the audio cut out a second time was that we looked at getting a broker the first time. He gave us a rough estimate of costs and what sort of homes we would be able to afford. And then we just took some time out, reduced our expenses, saved up more of a deposit. And then when we came back, we had much larger deposit to play with, which meant that we could get a house that was more expensive. We could avoid paying LMI, and we could do all of those things. So my advice to people who are looking for this first home is just try and save as much as you can. Try not to pay LMI if possible. Sometimes you can't, but do try the best you can to save up just the biggest deposit you can get. And that's not only going to help you find a home, and it's going to increase the range of homes that you can look at, but also you won't have to pay LMI. It'll reduce your repayments long term, and it'll just make it a hell of a lot easier to find a house. Then we started looking at the suburbs. So we found suburbs that were close to work. So for me, I go to work 4 times throughout the day because I work splits. So it had to be close to work, had to have a good median sort of rental price, and obviously within our budget for value real estate. It also had to be a kind of a safe area because we wanted to make sure that we weren't worried about leaving our cars outside or all that sort of stuff. And also looked at the future value. What's the value going to be like in the future? We went to viewings. We went to a shit ton of viewings over the course of 12 months, around about sort of 40-ish, a viewing, or at least one every single weekend, sometimes up to 5 or 6. And then we just got a better understanding of the whole landscape of what the rental market or the real estate market was like in those suburbs, and also surrounding suburbs, and then even just random suburbs to get a bit of an idea, so that you have a better concept of when you walk into a house. Because a viewing is so quick, you just literally walk in and around. You have to be able to quickly think to yourself, like, okay, is this worth the price that they're asking, or is this way overpriced? Or if I'm going to put an offer down, what sort of offer am I going to put down onto the table as well? So did all of that, went to viewings, saved for 12 months, ended up saving a larger deposit than the first time. And then when we checked back in, our parents were able to gift us some money, which was extremely appreciative of them. And we were able to secure ourselves our first home. When we went in and did the offer contract, we ended up in the end making 5 offers on 5 different houses. And what we'd learned over the course of that time was that the shorter the settlement is generally the better for the seller, because they're looking to kind of get out, get their money and just go. They don't want a real long settlement, and unless it's like a specific circumstance. So we did like 21 days or 14 days finance, 7 days building and pest inspection, and then from finance approval up to 21 days or earlier if agreed upon. So that made our offer just look a hell of a lot better than, I remember the first offer that we made, we just didn't know what to do. We did 60 days finance, 90 days settlement, and then like 2 weeks of building and pest inspection with like a very small upfront initial deposit. So looking back now and getting some tips from other agents and stuff, it just wasn't a really attractive offer. So hopefully you guys have learned something from the journey. If you are a first home buyer or you're looking to get into the market, please comment below. Tell me where you're at with your journey, what sort of things you've learned. If you have bought your first home or you're a seasoned veteran when it comes to owning your own home, then please comment below some things that you looked out for, maybe some things that you've learned over your time on how to pick really good houses, or if you're a property investor, even better, share some wisdom with the community below. But thanks for checking out the video, guys. Thanks for following along on my journey, and we're in the house now and can't wait to sort of decorate this space and make it our own in this little office here. So see you in the next one.